Chase has some awesome credit cards available, but can you get one of these if you have recently filed for bankruptcy? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and this little beauty is not a Chase credit card. This is an old debit card from many years ago when I first moved to Anaheim, California. I opened up a Chase checking account and I got this debit card, which was a real cash reward because apparently at that time, even the debit cards got cash back rewards. No, my actual credit card came with this, the Chase Slate card, which they no longer make, although they have since rebranded it as the Slate Edge card. And while I no longer bank with Chase, I did enjoy being a customer. They made some really cool cards, and they still make some really neat credit cards that any credit card warrior or enthusiast, whatever you want to call yourself, would be very happy to have in their wallet. Some of the cards out there that they do produce include the Chase Flex card, the Chase Freedom card, and completing the trifecta of awesomeness from the JPMorgan Bank is the Chase Sapphire card. Very cool. Now, Chase is the biggest bank in the world last time I checked. It is hard to go to a city or town that does not have at least one Chase bank in the area. Heck, I live near 3 Chases within a 5-mile radius of where I live. Naturally, because Chase is so prevalent in the world, and especially in America, you would think that it would be easy to get an account with Chase, but that is not always the case. In fact, Chase can be particularly picky about who they do business with. And you know, Chase has a lot of bad ways that they deal with customers, from randomly closing accounts that they feel they're not getting enough activity from, as well as their pitiful interest rates that they give you for using your money in the savings so that they can invest in other investments. Chase does not have a great reputation for customer service. They might make good products, but that does not mean they have good customer service. And nowhere is this more apparent than if you yourself or someone you know has filed for bankruptcy and they want to rebuild their credit history. Now, for the record, I myself have not filed for bankruptcy. I did get into a bad state years ago, which is why these Chase cards are no longer active. However, I never filed for bankruptcy. I did eventually pay off that Slate card, and I have rebuilt my credit, as is evident recently with my, approved application of the Amex Gold card. Unfortunately, before we married, my wife did have to file for bankruptcy. It was nothing she did particularly that was wrong. It was the fact that she got sick, needed a surgery, and during a time when she did not have health insurance. And when you put those two things in combination, bad things tend to happen. But hey, whatever, she filed for bankruptcy, clean slate, and she has taken her credit score from what was 500 to what is now a very respectable 680. And after several years of working on it, she decided she wanted to go after some reward credit cards. Now, of course, we might have been a little too optimistic at first because many banks, and particularly credit card issue lenders, will not instantly trust you with new credit. Some of them do offer secured cards that can be graduated to unsecured cards. And then there are some that will eventually give you credit if you show that you've been making good payments and you've been building it up after 4 to 6 years, and then they might kind of lend you back in, assuming you didn't burn them into the bankruptcy. So my wife has goals, and it's always good to have goals. And there are 4 cards that she would ultimately like to have. She would like the Apple card, she would like the Starbucks card, she would like the Amazon Visa, and the Disney Visa. Now, the Apple Visa you can take off this because that is Goldman Sachs. However, the rest of these credit cards are issued by Chase. And that begs the question, if she filed for bankruptcy, how forgiving is Chase to people who file for bankruptcy? And the answer is not very. In fact, as I dug deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole that was Chase and how they treated people who had filed for bankruptcy, not only was the answers pretty disheartening, but it was pretty infuriating at the same time, the lengths Chase goes to basically make sure that your clean slate is anything but a clean slate. So here's the thing, realistically, let's say you have come across this video because you have filed for bankruptcy, and it doesn't matter if it was like 2 days ago or 2 years ago or 8 years ago, you have filed for bankruptcy, you have a clean slate. Let's say that you're rebuilding your credit. It doesn't really matter how long ago it was or how good you have rebuilt your credit to this point. Here is the sad reality. As long as you have a bankruptcy showing on your credit report, Chase will not give you any credit cards. They probably will not even give you a checking account, which, is a whole nother thing, but right now we're talking about credit cards. Basically, Chase is going to do a hard pull on your credit every time you apply for a credit card. And if they see that there is a bankruptcy on your report, they will simply decide, no, you're not going to get a credit card from us. Thank you for playing. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Doesn't matter if your credit score is good now. Doesn't mean if you show that you've had several years of good payments. It doesn't even matter if you're under their, hidden or not published 524 rule. They will not give you a credit card by virtue that there is a bankruptcy on your credit report, which means that when you file for bankruptcy, you will be ineligible to get a Chase credit card, really of any kind, for at least 10 years. Keep in mind, when I turned 10, I remember how big it was. I was joining the double digits club. 10 years is a long, long time. And to basically be jailed out of Chase because you filed for bankruptcy, it doesn't really even matter what the circumstances was. Chase does not care whether you filed for bankruptcy because you were a careless spender who racked up mounds and mounds of debt and basically filed bankruptcy to wipe it all off, or if you got into a car accident, have a life-saving surgery, and then basically you could not handle your debt, but this clean slate gave you what you needed and you have not had problems with debt since then. The reasoning, frankly, is irrelevant to Chase. They are going to basically say, nope, no credit. We are not going to give you any credit. Come back when the bankruptcy falls off your report. So, okay, this is extremely annoying, but hey, after 10 years of them basically putting you in jail, after that 11th year where the bankruptcy is not on your credit report anymore, this is when you can get out of Chase jail. This is when you can apply for a Chase Freedom or a Flex or whatever you want, right? Well, maybe. It kind of depends on one little thing. Did you burn Chase when you filed for bankruptcy? Here's the thing. Remember how I opened the video that Chase was the largest bank in the world? Well, one of the reasons they are the largest bank in the world is that they serve a lot of customers. I mean, a lot of customers. I think it is much harder to find someone who didn't have a Chase account than you find someone who has had a Chase account. Chase is just everywhere. You've probably dealt with them and their products at one point. Heck, I've dealt with Chase, and that was a long, long time ago. I think everyone in my family at one point had a Chase account. I don't know a single person who did not have Chase. As a result, chances are you have had Chase, you had a Chase credit card at one point, and if you filed for bankruptcy, that meant that you burned Chase in a bankruptcy. And Chase is extremely unfriendly to you if you bankrupt them. Never mind that they don't trust you just because you filed for bankruptcy. You burn them, you get extra screwed by Chase. Because now, instead of being denied just because you have a bankruptcy on your report, you are being denied because you are on a blacklist with them. They will put you on a blacklist and you might end up waiting 12, 13, 14, maybe 19 years after you file for bankruptcy before Chase finally lets you back in the door and they see that your credit is much better or that you make more money now. So that pretty much means my wife's dreams of having any of these cards gone. Totally not a thing. No, she didn't burn Chase in a bankruptcy. She's one of the few people who has never had a Chase account, but she does have to wait at least 8 years to get another one. And at that point, I think she will be well established with other companies, and it really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for her to try. Now, it should be noted that there are some rare exceptions where Chase does let people who have filed for bankruptcy back into their fold, even before their bankruptcy jail is out. Obviously, if you burned them, it's not even an option. You might as well move on. But if you didn't burn one of their cards, but you can show after 4 or 5 years that your credit is good, you won't get approved automatically, but you might be able to start applying once a year for one of the beginner Chase cards. And if you get denied, call the reconsideration line and talk to a human being. And there have been some rare reports of people who have been in Chase jail for 6 or 7 years. One person said 3 years on the MyFICO forums, and they were able to get a Chase credit card because their credit did show extreme improvement. And I'm sure in at least a few of these cases, they did explain to the human that the bankruptcy was a result of a medical problem, not careless spending. Still, I'm not gonna lie, the situation is pretty frustrating. Now, I do know that these credit cards that I listed, the Starbucks, the Disney, and the Amazon, well, maybe not the Amazon. If you buy a lot from Amazon, they're probably a good card. But these are overall not great cards. The rewards are pretty weak, and there's a reason they are not brought up in any credit card video about best ways to maximize your rewards points. I totally understand that. The reason my wife wants them is she's more emotional than the way you and I would think. She likes Starbucks, therefore she wants a Starbucks card. She loves Disney, therefore, even though the rewards are frankly not great, she has no problem wanting a credit card just because Disney is on it. Now, some of you might be saying, well, if she filed for bankruptcy, then maybe she shouldn't be getting credit cards. Again, medical problem. I hope none of you have to face a financial future where you find out that you need to have a life-saving surgery, but have no insurance to pay for it. But you know what? Do the surgery anyway, and we'll figure out the money later on, because to not do it means might not actually have the chance to even plan for your next birthday. And yet this does not factor into Chase's decision at all. You cannot tell anyone there that this was a unique circumstance, that, you know, this is obviously not going to happen again. You cannot tell them that, heck, when they file for bankruptcy, I am now married, we now make this much money, look at the payments, we have never fallen behind on a credit card payment since then. You can't tell that to Chase. You know, they see you file for bankruptcy, they don't want anything to do with them. They see that you burn them with a bankruptcy, there is nothing else to talk about. Which I think is actually a shame, because the whole point for bankruptcy is that there is forgiveness. It's a clean slate. I know it does affect your credit report, and I do know that you do have to basically spend some time repenting with subprime cards, and you have to kind of prove yourself good with money again. But Chase lives by different rules than other credit card companies. The other credit card companies, yeah, American Express, Discover, they're gonna put you in a jail themselves. It might take several years, but eventually they might eventually bring you back on if your credit score reflects better spending habits and better money management. Chase makes no such illusions. They do not care. They will not give you a second chance. Heck, you should be lucky that they will even talk to you after 10 years because you file for bankruptcy. And yet, how many accounts has Chase themselves closed because you weren't using it? How many lines of credit have they wrecked because of their whims, like, we just don't want to deal with you as a customer anymore? And you have to keep in mind, this is the biggest bank in the world. This is the biggest lender of credit, and they are simultaneously abusing their power as credit lenders while also not actually allowing for debt forgiveness to be a thing. To me, I think it's personally rotten myself. I guess if my wife really wants one of these themed credit cards, I'm gonna have to sign up for her, and I'm gonna have to put her as an authorized user. But frankly, I don't even know if I want to do business with them anymore. You'd think that the largest bank in the world, the largest issuer of credit, would offer at least a secured credit card and give people a path to redemption like Discover and American Express does, but no such luck. Basically, you screw up once, you have screwed up forever, even though this is probably a one-time thing. I guess that's just the way the chips fall sometimes. But anyway, I would like to hear from all of you guys. Did you file for bankruptcy, and what was your experience with Chase? Does it reflect what I discovered, that basically you're basically jailed for a very, very long time? Or did you get lucky and did Chase actually let you in? What did you do that you think made all the difference? We would all love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.